Good evening, Lago Vista. It's Mayor Ed Tidwell here. It's Tuesday, March 24th, and I'm coming to you tonight to speak to you on the shelter in place order that was put out earlier today by a county judge. Because we are in Travis County, it affects us as Lago Vista. So I'm going to be going through that document here this evening and giving you my interpretation of the order that was put out today by our county judge. I will include some things uh, that pertain to Lago Vista itself and what is being done to follow these orders. And hopefully, over the next hour, I'll be able to answer most of your questions. I'm sure I can't answer them all just in this presentation, and I can't take questions live. So, during this recording. Um, so following this, if you have questions, please email me at mayor@lago-vista.org or get a hold of somebody here at City of Lago Vista if you have questions regarding what I have to explain to you tonight. I'm going to start with a little bit of local news because when I get to the judge's order, it's about 16 pages long, and it's going to take me a little while to go through it all and explain it. But I'm going to get started, and hopefully you can bear with me here. I'm going to be reading a lot of my documents, so I'm sorry if I'm not looking you in the eye while I speak to you, but I've got a lot of information to cover, so I'm going to be reading a lot. So first of all, what I'm going to start with is the Lago Vista POA. So earlier today, the POA put out their notice of how they are being affected by this. The Lago Vista POA is considered a non-essential business. Lago Vista POA, as we know, is a privately owned organization, member-owned organization. They're not a true government organization. So they are affected a little bit different than like the city would be. And they're kind of on the list of non-essential businesses. And so it affects them a little bit differently. So they put out this release earlier today that says Lago Vista POA will close all parks, facilities, and campground on March 24th, 2020 at midnight through April 13th, 2020, due to the Travis County Judge's court order to stay home, work safe. Marina and Emerald boat ramps will remain open at this time, but yet that is subject to change. The office staff will continue to respond to calls and emails. Some requests may be postponed until the order has been lifted. The marina will be continuously monitored and adjusted as needed. The marina dock gates will continue to work for slip tenants to check on their boat. The fishing well will be closed. The park entrance gates will only be operational for essential or emergency personnel. So that was their initial email that they put out today. And then a lot of people had questions. So they came back and clarified it a little bit. And I will read to you now the clarification. Okay, County Judge Order 2020-5, which goes into effect March 24th at midnight, does not preclude our members from accessing the parks on foot and continuing to enjoy the spring weather we have been blessed with. It does, however, prohibit the Lago Vista POA to continue providing the maintenance services to the parks through the efforts of our staff and rangers. Lago Vista POA is a non-essential business and ordered closed. The order forces us to close the gates, cease trash pickup, and seal the bathroom facilities. Porta potties will remain in place, but they cannot be serviced. Picnic tables and playgrounds are not being disinfected. If responsible members choose to use the park for walking, biking, kayaking, etc., the POA cannot prevent this. However, you do so at your own risk and interpretation of the court order. Please refrain from leaving waste in the parks, as the actions of each individual ultimately affects the well-being of us all. As a reminder, Green Shores Park, Heather Park, and Little Emerald Park do not have gates. Marina Park will remain open for launching kayaks and boats. Take your trash home with you. Don't congregate. The more effectively we adhere to the recommendations, the quicker we can conquer this virus. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay positive. Together we can do this. And that is from the Lago Vista POA. If you have questions regarding the statement that they put out today, please contact the POA directly. They will have more direction and details for you. If you call the city, we will not necessarily have that information. We will have whatever POA shares with us, but it may not be the exact answer that you're looking for. So now I'm going to move on to the school district. As you all know, the school district is closed until April 3rd at this time, but they are still providing certain services. Lago Vista ISD is still providing the following services: grab and go breakfast and lunch. Starting tomorrow, Wednesday, March 25th, Lago Vista ISD will provide meals for all eligible students. Keyword there is eligible students. This is the free lunch program, and it is only available for those people that have qualified, thus eligible students. Food service will be available via drive-through pickup Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 to 9:30 at Viking Hall, the Lago Vista Intermediate School / Middle School cafeteria. Students can pick up 2 grab-and-go breakfasts and lunches on Monday and Wednesday, 1 grab-and-go breakfast and lunch on Friday. Again, this is for eligible students. iPad pickup schedule. Since they are out of school right now, they're handing out iPads so that students can work on assignments. iPad pickup schedule. Devices will be distributed through a drive-through service at Viking Hall on Thursday from 7:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. That's Thursday from 7:30 to 10. Again, if you have any questions, please contact Lago Vista ISD. They have more details. If you contact the city, we only have the details that the school district has provided us with. Thank you. All right. So now I'm going to move on to the county judge. Again, it's 16 pages long. It's going to take me a little while to go through this and give you my interpretation. Again, this is my interpretation of this order, and I'll try and answer as many questions as I can. If you have questions, again, contact me or the staff here at the city somehow tomorrow, and we will try and answer those for you. I have discussed this with legal, the city manager, and several other people with the county. So I think I have clarification on this as best as possible. But again, there could be questions and some more clarification needed. So again, this is my interpretation of the order. Excuse me. All right. So this is ordered by the county judge of Travis County. And yes, we're an independent city, but we live in Travis County, and their orders supersede ours. I can make it more restrictive, but I cannot make it less restrictive. This is County Judge Order number 2020-5 relating the declaration regarding COVID-19. I'm going to skip most of the whereases. Oh, just so you know, if you're watching this and you do not have this in front of you, you can go to the Lago Vista webpage. I have this loaded so you can pull this up while I'm speaking to you. It's also on Facebook under the City of Lago Vista Facebook page. I don't know that it's as easy to read from the Facebook page, but if you can get a copy of the order, or if you want a copy of the order, while I'm going through this, please do so. But I'm going to skip on page 1. I'm going to skip most of the whereases. I'm only going to go to the most recent one where it says, whereas based in part on credible modeling by University of Texas at Austin, further restriction of movement of persons is necessary to reduce the substantial risk of harm to the public, and therefore, as long as this order is in effect, all individuals anywhere in the Travis County are required to shelter in place, except to perform certain essential activities, to perform work in or obtain service from an essential business, essential government functions or service, or in critical infrastructure. Now, therefore, I, County Judge of Travis County, pursuant to the authority vested by Texas Government Code, Chapter 418, hereby find and order that. All right, Section 1, stay at home or place of residence. All individuals currently living within Travis County, that is living within Travis County, are ordered to shelter at their place of residence, except as allowed by this order. All persons may leave the residences only to perform certain essential activities or to perform or obtain services from essential businesses, government functions or services, or critical infrastructure as defined below. I got a little clarification on this one right here to start with, because we have some people that live here in Lago Vista and live in Travis County, but yet they work in a county that has not issued a shelter in place. So the interpretation that I was given is that you can travel to and from work in an adjoining county if they have not put in a shelter in place or restricted non-essential businesses. So if you work in a different county, you can travel back and forth. From what I understand, I have not seen it, but I believe Williamson County is also going to be releasing a shelter in place order. Again, I have not seen that yet, so I am not positive on that. So you'll just have to pay attention to where you work and see if this affects you. So essential businesses, government functions or services, critical infrastructure as defined below. Number 2, Section 2, non-essential business operations must cease, except essential businesses as defined below, except minimum basic operations as defined below, and operations consisting exclusively of employees or contractors performing activities at their own residences, which is work from home. All essential businesses, essential government functions and services, and critical infrastructure are strongly encouraged to remain open and operate. Section 3, prohibited activities. All public and private gatherings of any number. You know, it used to be 10 or more. Now it says any number of people occurring outside a single household or dwelling unit are prohibited. So a single household are those people living together, or a dwelling unit, which could be a hotel, apartment, but it's a single unit, not a cluster of units, a single unit. So a single household or dwelling unit. Dwelling unit could be a travel trailer, mobile home, are prohibited except for the essential activities or to perform or obtain services from an essential business, government function or service, or critical infrastructure. Section 4, travel. All travel is prohibited except for the purposes of essential activities or to perform or obtain services for an essential business, government function or service, or critical infrastructure. So I already covered the part about if you work in a different county, but if you live in Travis County, if you're a non-essential business, you are supposed to close except for minimum basic operations. Non-essential. Essential businesses are encouraged to stay open. And if you go outside or if you do anything, you're supposed to restrict yourself to just your family or single household, and you can travel, but only for essential business or activities. And this includes travel on foot, bicycle, scooter, motorcycle, automobile, or public transit. But it is not limited to those. So depending on your mode of travel, you're supposed to travel only for essential activities and businesses, etc. All right, section 6, definitions and exemptions. A, if you're homeless, you are exempt, but they do ask you to maintain social distancing of 6 feet. All right. Now we get into the essential parts that it was talking about, and we start with the essential activities. All right. For purposes of this order, individuals may leave their residence only to perform any of the following essential activities. People at high risk of severe illness from COVID-19 and people who are sick are urged to stay in their residence to the extent possible, except as necessary to seek medical care. So here are the essential activities. For health and safety, you can leave your house for health and safety, to engage in activities or perform tasks essential to their health and safety. That is seeking emergency services, obtaining medical supplies or medication, or visiting a health care professional. And this does include your family, household members, and pets. Healthcare professional, some people have asked about their physical therapy and things like that. I believe there's a section down here that talks about non-essential services. So I'll cover that later. If not, I'll get back to it. But anyway, your non-essential medical services like elective surgeries and things like that are not considered essential. If you're going through physical therapy or something like that, you need to check with your doctor to determine that your doctor will determine whether it is essential or not. So contact your doctor or your physical therapist or whoever to make sure that you are supposed to attend, or if you're not supposed to attend. Okay, you can leave your home for necessary supplies and services. To obtain necessary services or supplies for yourself, your family, or household members, or to deliver those services or supplies to others. These are an example, but not limited to, groceries and food, including pet supplies and food, supplies that you need to work from home, household consumer products, products necessary to maintain the safety, sanitation, and essential operation of your home. So you can leave your home to get necessary supplies and services. Outdoor activity, and I think this has been a big one for a lot of people, especially since the reaction that I saw to the POA announcement earlier today. Outdoor activity, you can leave for outdoor activity to engage in outdoor activity, such as, by way of example, and without limitation. So it's not limited to this, but walking, hiking, or running, provided the individuals comply with the requirements as set forth in Exhibit B. Now, I'm not going to go over Exhibit B because it's another 4 pages long, but if you will pull up the order and look at Exhibit B, it's basically the social distancing that we have all become used to over the last week. It talks about if you've got illnesses or you're high risk. It's basically the behavior model. It's Exhibit B. So walking, hiking, or running. Now you can access the parks. You've heard me talk about the POA parks. If you want to go to the parks to do those, you can do that. Just maintain social distancing. And if you go as a family, you have to stay with the family. You can't mingle with other families. So those of you who want to have Mother's Day out or group activities or things like that at your local park, be extremely careful because it says groups not of a single household or dwelling unit. You can't congregate together. So if you go to the park, you have to limit yourself to your family. You can wave at another family across the park, but you cannot join them. Okay, certain types of work. You can leave your house for certain types of work. That is to provide essential products and services at essential business, government service, or critical infrastructure, or to otherwise carry out activities specifically permitted in this order, including minimum basic operations. And I will cover that later. We will get to essential businesses and stuff in another section. You may leave your house to take care of others, to care for a family member or pet in another household. Excuse me. You may leave your house to perform or obtain services from an essential business, government function or service, or critical infrastructure. So you don't necessarily have to work at these businesses or functions or services. If you need something from these businesses, you can also leave to go to the businesses to obtain services. And you can leave. You're allowed to return home from or to another jurisdiction. So if you go to work in a different county, you're allowed to come home. Seems kind of odd, but the example they use is for, say, your young adult who's attending college somewhere and the university is closed. They don't necessarily reside in Travis County because they're away at college, but they are allowed to come home because their college, they don't have to stay somewhere or find another place to live. They can come home. All right, so now we get to essential government functions. Essential government functions provide for the health, safety, and welfare of the public and all agencies that provide for the health, safety, and welfare of the public. Each government body, which would be the city of Lago Vista in this case, shall determine its essential government functions and identify employees and or contractors necessary to the performance of those functions. Essential government functions of Travis County are listed in Exhibit D. Exhibit D, we'll read that one. It's short. Exhibit D, essential government functions include, but are not limited to, transit and transit facilities. So that includes Cap Metro. So if you rely on the bus for transportation, it is still operational. Transportation services, equipment, and facilities. That includes Lyft, Uber, and taxi cabs, and any bus stations, train stations, anything that you need for public transportation. Power, water, telecommunications, natural gas, public utilities, janitorial, and sanitation services. So PEC, Lago Vista Water, Spectrum Cable, AT&T. If you have a natural gas, janitorial and sanitation services, any of those businesses are included as essential government functions. Information and communications, including news media and the press. Yes, they're still going to be working. Emergency services, thank God. Public health and medical services. Fire and law enforcement, including corrections. Again, thank God. Public works. We'll get into essential infrastructure a little bit later, but yes, your public works people will still be working. So your water treatment plants, your sewer plants, anybody working on water lines, water pipelines, street maintenance. You will see some street maintenance beginning at the end of this week. So they are considered public works and essential government functions. Court operations, such as community supervision and pretrial service clerk, court reporters. Currently, we have suspended or postponed all of our actual court dates here at City Hall. But if you have something that you need to take care of with our courts, court clerk, you can still do so via phone or internet. Just make sure you call and find out the actual process of taking care of anything that you have when it pertains to courts. Critical road equipment, technology, and infrastructure maintenance or repair. Again, our utility department, street department, everybody will continue working as an essential government function. So that will continue. All right. Essential critical infrastructure. Essential critical infrastructure means all public and private facilities and assets, including both physical and cyber systems, other functions and sectors vital to the security, governance, public health, safety, and economic continuity of the County of Travis and municipalities, and is set forth in Exhibit C. So we will go to Exhibit C, and I will talk to you about the critical infrastructure. And critical infrastructure is not what you think necessarily about, your public works. This is looking at countywide infrastructure. And a lot of you work in these industries, so this will let you know whether you are essential or non-essential. Critical infrastructure includes, but is not limited to, the following: banking and financial institutions. You will still be able to conduct all your banking. Transit facilities, transportation services, equipment and facilities. Discussed that already. Power, water, telecommunications, natural gas, public utilities, sanitation services. D, critical manufacturing, including primary metals, machinery, electrical equipment and components, health and safety products and equipment, and transportation equipment. E, information and communications, including the press. F, emergency services. G, public health and medical services. H, fire and law enforcement. I, public works. J, agriculture and food. K, let's go back to J, agriculture and food. So that includes all your farmers markets, and things like that are selling, or restaurants, anything like that. Agriculture and food, critical. Airport facilities and operations. Nationwide travel has not been banned, so most of your airports are open, including Lago Vista's airport. Sanitation services. You have probably seen the word that Waste Connections put out just recently. Our sanitation services are going to continue for the future. However, for the safety of the drivers and the employees. Waste Connections has told their employees not to get out of their vehicles, so they're only using the trucks to pick up the actual canisters, bins, whatever you may call it, and dump it into the truck and set it back down on the ground. Employees will not be getting out of the truck to touch anything or pick up anything. So if you're putting bags of leaves or chairs or anything, mattresses, anything that you want the trash people to pick up, they will not do so unless it fits inside your trash bin. So please do not set anything off to the side and think it's going to get picked up, because it won't, and you'll just have to carry it back to wherever you store your trash for another time whenever this expires. Government buildings or facilities. Yes, City Hall will remain open. Most of our activities are going to continue. We may have limited staff and limited access in areas, but most of our stuff will remain open. And when I get to the end of this broadcast, I will actually, the last thing I'm going to do is tell you exactly how the city of Lago Vista is going to be functioning during this time. Okay, government buildings and facilities. So, and then the last one is construction. Construction, comma. I've had questions about, well, hey, I'm a house builder. I'm in plumbing. I'm in concrete. Am I essential? A lot of that is considered infrastructure. The way I read this, it says construction, comma. It is separated from the rest of the sentence. So the way I interpret this is construction overall in general is considered a critical infrastructure and you can go to work. So construction, comma, which includes public works construction, construction of affordable housing or housing for individuals experiencing homelessness, social services construction, and other construction that supports essential users, including essential businesses, government functions, or critical infrastructure, or otherwise as required in response to this public health emergency. So let's take the fire stations, for example, that are under construction. They're considered a critical government function. Their fire stations would be considered critical infrastructure, and any construction that supports them will also be able to work. But again, I think the biggest question was on construction in general. And again, the way I interpret this is it says construction, comma, which separates it. And I believe all construction is allowable. All right. So that was Exhibit C. All right. So now we go into essential businesses. A lot of this we briefly touched on, but now we're getting to more detailed description of essential businesses. Section 1, healthcare operations. Healthcare operations includes, but is not limited to hospitals, clinics, dentists, pharmacies, pharmaceutical and biotechnology companies, or other healthcare facilities, healthcare suppliers, mental health providers, substance abuse service providers, blood banks, medical research, laboratory services, or any related and/or ancillary healthcare services. Home-based and residential-based care for seniors, adults, or children are also considered healthcare operations. This also includes veterinary care and all health and welfare services provided to animals. It does not include fitness and exercise gyms, healthcare operations do not include elective medical, surgical, and dental. I briefly touched on that a while ago. Healthcare operations do not include retail outlets selling electronic cigarette products and cannabidiol, cannabis, CBD oils products. So your e-cigs and your CBD is not considered a healthcare product. So healthcare operations do not include elective medical, surgical, or dental. So again, check with your doctor. I mentioned physical therapy earlier. No elective surgery, dental, if you're having your teeth cleaned, whitened, things like that are elective. I'm pretty sure those will not be allowed. So please check with your doctor, dentist, surgeon, whoever, to make sure that any health care you are seeking is actually essential. Okay, 2, stores that sell groceries and certain other essential supplies. These are also essential businesses. Grocery stores, supermarkets, big box stores, farmers markets, food banks, convenience stores, liquor stores. I saw that earlier today. Somebody on Facebook was looking for liquor stores. Yes, they are included. Other establishments engaged in the retail sale of canned food, dry goods, fresh fruit and vegetables, pet supplies, fresh meat, fish and poultry, and any other household consumer products such as cleaning and personal care products. This includes stores that sell groceries and also sell other non-grocery products. Products necessary to maintaining the safety, sanitation, and essential operation of residences. I think this includes places like Home Depot and Lowe's, because they don't necessarily sell groceries, but they do sell products necessary to maintaining safety, sanitation, and essential operation of residences. Essential business number 3, food cultivation. Food cultivation, including farming, livestock, and fishing. Let's all go fishing. Business number 4, social services and charitable organizations. Businesses that provide food, shelter, social services, and other necessities for life for economically disadvantaged or otherwise needy individuals. Meals for Wheels is one that comes to my head. They are still providing services. Your churches, food pantries, things like that, all are considered essential businesses and should be open. News media, okay. Gas stations and businesses needed for transportation. Gas stations, automobile dealerships, auto manufacturing and assembly, auto supply, auto repair, and other related facilities. So basically anything you need for your car to make sure it works and runs, those supporting businesses are open. And if you need to, you can actually go and buy a car. All right, essential business number 7. Financial institutions, banks and related financial institutions. Essential business number 8, hardware and supply stores. Essential business number 9, critical trades, plumbers, electricians, exterminators, pool cleaners, other service providers, only to the extent that services are necessary to maintaining the safety, sanitation, and essential operation of residents, essential activities, essential businesses, essential government services, and critical infrastructure. including utilities such as electricity, gas, water, wastewater, and other public works. Critical trades does not include discretionary maintenance or improvements. The way I interpret this is that you cannot go out and contract somebody to come in and replace your cabinets. That is not considered safety, sanitation, and essential operation of your residence. But for the most part, everything else is covered: plumbers, electricians, exterminators, pool cleaners, other service providers. I would assume that would be lawn care for those of you who contract your lawn care services. I would assume that I would consider that to be the sanitation of your residence. Mail-in delivery, critical business number 10. Mailing, shipping services, and post office boxes. I'm assuming that includes UPS and FedEx. They are a shipping service. Essential business number 11, educational institutions. Right now they are closed. But anyway, schools, universities, colleges, anything pertaining to educational institution can remain open. So when the deadline, I think our schools are closed till April 3rd right now. This order goes to April 13th. If our school district decides to reopen the schools on April 3rd, they can do so. Restaurants for consumption off premises. Number 12, business number 12, restaurants and other facilities that prepare and serve food, but only for delivery or carryout. Schools and other entities that typically provide free food services to students or members of the public may continue to do so. And I discussed that earlier with the school district order about their pickup. The school districts must do this. They must provide their services on pickup and takeaway basis only. They shall not permit the food to be eaten at the site where it is provided or at any other gathering site. This calls into question Sonic Drive-In. They are strictly a carry-out restaurant, and you are in your own car. However, this order says shall not permit the food to be eaten at the site where it is provided or at any other gathering site. It does not specify whether you are in your car or not, or if that makes an exception to the rule. My interpretation is that if you're in your own car, you are safe to do so, long as you do not gather with anybody else. You stay in your car. However, Sonic may interpret this different, and after delivering your food, they may ask you to vacate the premise, and they have their right to do so according to what I read here. So do not go to Sonic and eat in your car and tell them, hey, the mayor said I could eat in my car. I interpret it that you can, but I'm leaving that up to the business owner, Sonic, to determine that on their own. Essential business number 13, supplies to work from home. If you work from home and you need to get supplies, you're able to do that. Essential business number 14, supplies and services for essential business, critical infrastructure, and essential government functions. So businesses, say like school districts, city hall, places like us, if you work for us and you provide services such as janitorial services, laundry services, computer, audio and video, electronics, hardware, paint, electrical, plumbing, sanitary equipment, medical equipment, food and beverage, you can still provide that to the critical essential businesses, critical infrastructure and government functions. But you must comply with Exhibit B, which I mentioned earlier, is basically the social distancing requirements. Central business number 15, food delivery. Businesses that ship or deliver groceries, foods, goods, or services directly to residences. So Domino's, anybody else that delivers food to your resident, they're still good to go. Excuse me. Voice gets dry, sorry. Business number 16, transportation. Airlines, taxis, and other private transportation providers, such as Uber and Lyft. And also already talked about buses. Your Cap Metro is still running, along with the train. Business number 17, home-based care and services. Home-based care for seniors, adults, or children, including caregivers who may travel to provide care. Number 18, residential facilities and shelters. Residential facilities and shelters for seniors, adults, children, and animals can stay open. 19, professional services, legal or accounting services, insurance agents, insurance services, and real estate services when necessary to assist in compliance with legally mandated activities, and only to the extent that the services can be provided with minimum basic operations. So your legal service, professional services, insurance company, your accounting, your accountant, your real estate agent, they can operate if they're performing something legally mandated. So if you have a deadline, closing date, something like that, they can operate, but they are asked to do so on a minimum basis. So there may be only one person working in the accounting office handling everything, but they can still operate. Business number 20, IT, information technology, telecom services. So your cable companies, let's see, global, national, local infrastructure for computing services, business infrastructure, communications, web-based services, critical manufacturing, telecom services, internet access, broadband communications services. So your cable and phone companies will all still be working, basically. 21, child care facilities. Child care facilities providing services that enable employees exempted in this order to go to work. So if you're not working, then you don't necessarily need the child care. But if you do go to work and you still need the child care, it will be available. Child care facilities must operate under the following mandatory conditions, though. Child care must be carried out in stable groups of 10 or fewer. The definition of stable means that the same 10 or fewer children are in the exact same group each day. Children cannot change from one group to another. So if you're in the frog group, you can't change to the turtle group or the sheep group or whatever. You must stay in whatever group you are in. If more than one group of children is cared for at a facility, each group shall be in a separate room. Groups shall not mix with each other. So if you go outside for recess, there can only be one group at a time. They cannot mix. Child care providers shall remain solely with one group of children. So whatever teacher is with that group or care provider is with that group, they must remain. They cannot swap. It does not say what happens if a child care provider gets sick. Who steps in with that group? I'm assuming it's got to be somebody fresh. Cannot be somebody from another group that has been working with a group of children, possibly exposed, could transmit it to another group. I would assume whoever they bring in to substitute would have to be a fresh person with no contact of other groups. Essential business number 22, moving supply services. If you're moving, residential or commercial wise, you can still move. Hotels and motels. They're open to the extent for lodging and delivery or carry out food services. I don't think you can congregate in the lobby at the bar and have a drink though, because bars and restaurants are already closed to the dining areas. So you got to get room service. 24, funeral services. Funeral, mortuary, cremation, burial, cemetery, and related services can continue provided that your social distancing of 6 feet per person is maintained to the greatest extent possible. All right. So now we move to letter F, which defines the minimum basic operations. You've heard me talk about that earlier. The minimum basic operations, first of all, says that you must comply with requirements in Exhibit B, which is the social distancing. Please look that up so you know what that means. Exhibit B in this order. Let's see. Minimum basic operations. The minimum necessary activities to maintain the value of the business's inventory, ensure security, process payroll, and employee benefits, or for related functions. So a business does not have to completely shut its doors. They can operate on minimum basic, which is inventory, security, payroll, benefits. So they may be not conducting businesses. Say you have a restaurant or a bar, they are closed to the public because of the dining restrictions, but your restaurant employees can come into work for things like inventory, security, payroll, benefits. I'm thinking that's going to be like one manager. Each business is different, though, in what their minimum necessary activities are. 2, the minimum necessary activities to facilitate employees and clients of the business being able to continue to work and receive services remotely from their residences. So I'm interpreting this. If you work for a business, but yet you're working from home, but you need services support from the main office, a minimum staff of employees can go to that main office to support everybody that is working from home. Some of your businesses have greatly increased their work from home workforce, and so their support staff may be overloaded. They can't necessarily do that from their home. They need to work in the actual main facility. They can do so. G, minimum residence. For purpose of this order, residence includes hotels, motels, shared rental units, and similar facilities. That was a definition of residences. I don't know why that was put here and should have been included earlier. Anyway, residence. Okay, now we move to Section 7. The county judge suspends all deadlines imposed by local law, rule, or other regulation. That is all deadlines. I know a big one around here is going to be utility bills. I'm assuming that is a deadline. If you have a deadline in which to pay your water bill, which the next one is April 15th. It suspends all deadlines imposed by local law, rule, or other regulations until May 1st. So you get a little bit of a reprieve if you cannot pay your water bill on April 15th. I will get into city more detailed at the end of this. Because yes, it is suspended, but we would prefer that you continue to pay your stuff on time. It's just much easier. Okay, Section 8. Please note that the Travis County Sheriff's Office, the Travis County Fire Marshal's Office, and other peace officers are hereby authorized to enforce this order. So other peace officers, that would include Lago Vista PD. A violation of this order may be punishable through criminal or civil enforcement. Violation of this order is a misdemeanor, punishable by a fine not to exceed $1,000 or confinement in jail for a term not to exceed 180 days, or both fine and confinement. We're not out here to criminalize anybody for this. These are rough times. For a long time, this was pretty surreal for a lot of us, if not most of us. It's just now, after a couple of weeks, becoming extremely reality. We're coming to grips with it. So we're not looking to criminalize violation. So if you do something because you think you need to do something, then do it. If a police officer pulls you over, explain what you're doing and why it's a necessity. Health, safety, getting on with your life. I'm pretty sure you will be okay. I'm thinking the biggest thing is going to be the congregation. Again, if they drive by Cody Park and there's 50 of you out there partying, drinking beer and chatting, now they'll step in and do something. Again, they probably won't criminalize it per se, but they will break it up. However, it is possible that you could get a ticket. So just don't violate this order. If you have questions, contact me, the city manager, the police department. Contact somebody if you have questions before you just take it upon yourself. All right. I have made it through the entire document. I am now going to address our local issues. Now, we have yet to put out our own city declaration. That will be coming tomorrow. At the meeting is scheduled for 5:30. So watch for the local City of Lago Vista declaration order tomorrow evening, 5:30, 6 o'clock. We're doing this via council meeting, emergency council meeting. And the reason for that is because I could just go ahead as the mayor and put out a declaration that is effective for 7 days. But with some of the orders coming down from the county that are extending all the way to the 13th, I would either have to put another declaration out in 7 days, or I'd have to get city council approval. So we're going ahead from the very beginning, bringing the city council together. I will be presenting my declaration to them at that time and asking for their approval. And that is why it is going to happen tomorrow. We're waited also because now that I have read to you the county order and you've had a chance to look at it at home, ask questions on social media, all your friends, you'll have tomorrow during the day to email me at mayor@lago-vista.org, text me, send me the questions that you have with the county order and anything that might pertain to Lago Vista. I can address those. And if there's something that I need to change in my declaration for the city, I still have time to do that. So here is kind of what you can expect tomorrow. This is not finalized. This is just what I have put together so far. The bulk of it will be basically outlining the county orders and why we're doing this and what orders, what codes give us the authority to do all of this. But what we get down to will be the most, the exhibit. That is the most important part of the order. So Exhibit A, emergency order of the mayor. As you know, the municipal library was closed on the 20th of March, 2020. It will remain closed until further notice. As of today, city offices are closed to the public for face-to-face interactions. Will remain closed until further notice. So please call, email, go to the website, try and conduct all your business electronically. There will be staff because we will be maintaining government functions and services and operations. Staff will be on site. And for some reason, you have no other way to conduct your business, please call and we can work something out. But we are trying to limit all face-to-face interactions with city offices. And that includes development services and our court clerk, code enforcement, all of that. Municipal golf course, as of today, will be closed for daily play. Municipal golf course will be closed for daily play effective at close of business today, and it will remain closed until further notice. However, members of the golf course are still allowed to play on the golf course during this time, granted that they have their own golf course. The clubhouse, everything is going to be secured, locked up, so there will not be a city golf cart available for you to play. But if you have your own golf cart, you can go and play golf. Just make sure you maintain Exhibit B of the county thing, which is the social distancing. So you can only have like one person in your cart. Can't play as a duo unless it's a family member. If you play with, it says any number. Cannot congregate in any number except for these essential activities. It did not list playing golf as an essential activity. It listed the hiking, biking, walking, but did not say it was limited to that. So you could consider, and we have considered playing a round of golf as an essential activity and are allowing you to do so long as you maintain your social distancing and comply with all the other orders, which including congregating in any number unless you're a single household or dwelling unit. Sports fields, tennis courts, pickleball courts, city-owned parks also will remain open and available for use. Again, however, no public or private gatherings are permitted, according to Travis County Order Number 2020-5. That's the official order, Travis County Order, and that pertains to the golf course. So, if you want to go out and play tennis, pickleball, single family, single household, or dwelling unit, the exception does say if you're involved in a essential activity, and I want to look that up one more time just to make sure that I am telling you correctly. Outdoor activity. To engage in outdoor activities such as, by way of example, without limitation, walking, hiking, and running, provided the individuals comply with requirements as set forth in Exhibit B, which is the essential, which is the social distancing. See, okay. Prohibited activities. All public and private gatherings of any number of people occurring outside a single household or dwelling unit are prohibited except for the essential activities or to perform or obtain services from an essential business, government function, or services. Except for essential activities. So it could be interpreted that going to the sports field, tennis courts, pickleball courts, going to the city-owned parks are considered part of those essential activities. However, and I mentioned this earlier, if you're going to the park to play, be outdoors, yes, that's an essential activity, but I would not congregate with other groups. Number 5, city will temporarily suspend credit card fees for all transactions until further notice. Number 6, city will consider utility account requests on a case-by-case basis upon receiving a request from a utility customer. All right, so basically 5 and 6, because we're having to conduct business completely electronically, normally there is a 3% fee on your credit card that we include because of the fees that we have to pay to the credit card company. But in this case, we are going to be suspending. We are looking to suspend credit card fees for all transactions because we are forcing everybody to conduct business online. For those of you who may not be working because you're not essential or whatever, hardships fall on your family. Excuse me. And April 15 gets here and your utility account is due, and you need to come in and talk to us. As you heard earlier, deadlines have been suspended by the county until May 1st, so you have a little bit of time to work with. But please come in and give us a call, talk to the city manager, and make sure that the city is aware of your situation and is working with you. And again, this will be handled on a case-by-case basis, but you must request it. It is not an automatic anything. You must request it. Green Center. Right now, our Green Center is scheduled to be open, and we have not changed that. We only have one person working at the facility to assist you, but just maintain your social distancing and you'll still be able to get your stuff taken care of at the Green Center. And then we will include something on here about our police department because of the amount of face-to-face contact, the way they handle non-emergency calls, say like a theft, something that you just need to file a report for. PD will no longer be coming out to your house just to file a report. It will be done over the phone or electronically, something like that, to allow for non-face-to-face. Please still do call the police department if you have something, but for whatever reason, if they want to conduct business over the phone via versus face-to-face, you will know why. It is because of this order and the social distancing aspects. So I have now covered everything that I have on my pack here. I hope by reading it to you and trying to explain some of the questions that I got earlier today and some of the questions I had reading through it, I hope I have answered most of your questions. Again, if you have any, please contact me directly and I will try to clarify that for you. Otherwise, Vista, have a wonderful night. Stay healthy, stay safe, and we will take care of each other and we will get through this together. Thank you. Good night.